Hi, I'm Eric Stover, Product Line Manager here at Autodesk, and today I have with me Mr. Guillermo Melantoni, our top 3D geek for AutoCAD. So Guillermo, we've just released AutoCAD 2010, and there's lots of great 3D improvements.
So excited.
So tell me what's happening. Why all the great 3D improvements now? What are the goals?
Great. I'm really excited about this, and I really think that everybody's going to be excited as soon as they know how much they will increase their efficiency in 3D. For example, have you been working with solids? Now you can control them much better, really much better. That little gizmo, the manipulator, it really works in a fantastic way. And not only that, you can also make good smooth surfaces.
What would I make smooth surfaces for?
You've seen trends in architecture and industrial design. Everywhere you have smooth shapes. And now AutoCAD is not only about boxes, it's also about any kind of smooth shapes that you can really almost sculpt, just like taking it with your hands and sculpting. And that is so great. And by the way, you know that we can also print it?
Print it? What do you mean?
No paper.
Like piece of paper?
No paper. I'm talking about plastic, I'm talking about metal, I'm talking about plaster, and you can touch it, and you can give it to your customer, you can validate design, you can test it, you can do whatever you want from AutoCAD. Can you believe that?
So how's that work? So wait, I mean, how do I print this out? Is it working on my little desktop printer or what?
Oh, no. Well, you may have one of those, but you may not. And if you don't, you just click a button on AutoCAD, and it goes directly into a web service to a couple of companies, a couple of partners that print it out and send you by mail.
So you're telling me that I can model something inside of AutoCAD with all these great new tools,
right?
And then hit this button, and then something comes in the mail that's my actual design?
And you get your design, and you can touch it, you can feel it, and you can show it.
In like all kinds of different materials?
Of course.
And what if I'm an architect or an engineer? I mean, does it any part? I mean, it can be a building or a mechanical assembly.
A building, a mechanical assembly, whatever you want.
So anything I can imagine.
Skeleton, a hand, whatever you imagine, and you can model, you can print it.
So it sounds like, in previous releases, you're telling me that we did great with something akin to Legos, and now this is a release that makes you work with clay, that you've got more flexibility. Is that right? When you're talking about meshes?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So let me ask you this. So, what if I'm in an office with many other Autodesk applications? Can we send this 3D gizmo widget part, whatever, around? Or what's
good. So let's say that you work in an architectural firm.
Sure.
And you may be using Revit, which is a great tool for building information modeling. But you may really feel so comfortable with AutoCAD that you may want to do the design, that sculpting I've told you about, in AutoCAD, and then send it to Revit. And you can do that. You can just convert it into solid and take it into Revit and build and make the building out of that.
So you bring the drawing into Revit, and then what happens in Revit? What's usually the first step?
You basically bring the model, import it into Revit as DWG, which is, of course, our native format.
Sure.
And everybody knows about it. And right in Revit, you just click on parts of the object, and they become walls, floors, roofs, whatever you need to make in Revit. So you can develop the design there. And afterwards, of course, documentation, you can do it in Revit, you can do it in AutoCAD. You have kind of a round trip there. So you can really use the tool you feel comfortable with, which is the most important thing.
Yeah. So what about, what if I'm not an architect? What if I'm an engineer? What if I'm working with an office full of inventor?
Good. Same thing. Again, I'm creating these objects in AutoCAD because, again, I feel comfortable with AutoCAD and I don't need too much analysis simulation, but somebody else at some point of the process will need to understand if that piece breaks. So they may want, for example, to do stress analysis.
Sure.
I'll just take that piece into Inventor. I can export it, import it into Inventor, and apply a stress analysis. I can even make a mold.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So, okay, I'm going to challenge you a little bit more here. So
go ahead.
You've covered Revit and Inventor. What about if I want to do high-end animations? What if I'm using Max?
There has been such a big love story with AutoCAD Max for ages. So you know that. You can just bring your model from AutoCAD into Max as usual and just apply materials and make a render, fantastic render. But there's a nice thing here. If you at some point need to make something, a model in Max, you can take that into AutoCAD.
Wow.
And you can use whatever you need. For example, you need to make some documentation on that.
Sure.
You can just bring it into AutoCAD, do whatever you need in AutoCAD, and you know what? You can also take it to Revit, to Inventor. So we are also ensuring some kind of communication around, which is great, again, because everybody has AutoCAD.
Great. So it seems like you guys have been really working hard with all the other product teams at Autodesk to make sure the data can go in and out of all the different applications
Absolutely.
that may be in an office. Fantastic. So without giving away the farm, it seems like you guys did a lot in 3D this year.
We did.
So is this, with a yes or no, is this where it ends? Or are we going to see more 3D improvements down the road?
This is just the beginning.
Just the beginning?
Yes.
Very nice. Well, you seem like you're really excited.
I am.
And I think
Are you?
I am very excited. And I think you'll be excited as well with a lot of the great stuff that Guillermo and team have been working on. But the only way to check it out is to check it out yourself. So we really hope you take a look at all the great 3D work that has been included in this release. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.